Hello and welcome to yet another edition of KYC, our occasional series titled Know Your Central Council Candidate. Today we have with us the Hyderabad-based Dayaniwas Sharma, a sitting Central Council member, an illustrious son of an illustrious father who has made a mark in the profession all by himself. Welcome, Daya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Then I'll get to my very first question. I'm not known to be very diplomatic, so I'll straight ask you, what exactly has been your contribution in the last 3 years at the council?
Oh, thank you very much, sir, for being, and that is the best way. And being candid is the best thing, because that gives me more comfort to answer back, because all throughout I have been very straightforward in my discussions. And the first question itself is a good ball for me to hit a 6. That's primarily because if you see in the last 3 years, the digital transformation of our institute has been one of the most and important activity which has happened. So let me just take example of SSP portal, where I was, I am currently the chairman of member and student services, and last 3 years have been my contribution towards this SSP portal, which actually transformed the institute totally. If you see from a point of view where we were going through a process of manual and printing documents and authenticating from the principal the certificates which have been issued by institute itself. So all those processes are being eliminated, and SSP portal today has been successful. Close to 5 crore data files are migrated within 18 months.
Wonderful.
People never expected that this thing is going to happen. Yes, the leadership has given that confidence in us, put that confidence in us, and we could deliver that. So just imagine, my father's practice is there from 1973. And today he can see who was his first article, who was his 10th article, and who is his current article. That is one part which has been a great, motivation for me to work on the institute side. Second part was on the UDIN. Today the entire facelift of the profession is changed. And I still remember the first time when I was being adopted to the UDIN group, we were 2 people who have been part of it. And today we are seeing what UDIN is altogether and the recognition we got. This is the second transformational activity which the institute has done in this year. Then when we talk about the new networking guidelines, I was being the core committee member for drafting the entire new networking guidelines, followed with the CA Connect portal, because the discussion was very clear that if chartered accountants cannot market, can't institute market chartered accountants. And that is the agenda which we all have taken in the council, and we launched the this portal. Then I was the convener of Financial and Tax Literacy Drive. And you'll be happy to know that for the first time in the country, we have launched, not we, even the government of India has not launched, ICI has launched the Financial and Tax Literacy Drive portal in 11 different languages. And just by clicking a button, the language of the portal changes, and much more is there in that. Followed with, sir, I can actually continue, but you have to bear with me. The world's first forensic and accounting standard which has been done is by ICI. And I'm happy to say that I'm the vice chairman of that committee and driving the entire forensic standards. And the best motivation, sir, today morning I was discussing with someone, was 200 chartered accountants have participated pro bono during this COVID time, and we released this forensic standard, which is the world's first forensic standard, sir.
Wonderful. I think we will take a halt there, because if you reel out too many, people might find it difficult to recall. So these 5 are good, but I have one counter. Okay. You have today put up your hand and said you have been responsible for SSP.
Not I alone, sir, the entire institute.
Okay.
Yes, we have been putting in the front.
All right. Were you ready? If I remember right, it was a semi-disaster in its first year. At that point in time, were you willing to take ownership for it?
Sir, little sensitive question, but yes, you are talking about the first year, sir. I am talking about the first 3 months itself.
Okay.
We realized that there is a major gap which was being communicated to TCS also.
Okay.
And fortunately, Manu Agarwal or Aniket Talati and I, three of us have been part of this entire transition process. And thanks to Mr. Praful Chajad, our past president, who has reposed confidence in us to give that comfort. Because see, sir, we had multiple platforms and we had physical files also. Obviously, it was not an easy transition when you talk about 5 crore data files to be migrated. Obviously, there would have been much gaps which were there. So this entire thing has actually made us feel more confident if within 18 months, if we are able to transform this institute to a digitized platform, single platform, I think, sir, fear obviously either kills you or saves you.
True.
So
I fully appreciate the effort that you have put in. All said and done, every software takes its time to settle down. My only query was in the larger issue of how the profession responded to at that particular point in time. From what you tell me, you guys have taken a proactive position on that. That's good. Now, once you get elected, what is it that you plan to do across the next 3 years?
Sir, thank you for this question. And after completing 3 years in our council, I realized one particular factor, sir. I think you will also agree, you are our guru. You will agree that somewhere the patriotism for the profession is actually missing. Once we get qualified, most of the people don't turn back towards the institute and think what is happening. You know, we need to do is, the focus is, sir, 2 sides of the table. When you talk about an auditor or a chartered accountant, either he's a CFO or a member in industry, right? Or he's an auditor or a consultant. Now, the point is, these 2 sides of the table are to be mapped very effectively. That has been a gap. Most of the time, people have been thinking that people from practice background only go for voting, or people from practice background are only involved in all the activities of the institute. Time has come. Years of experience of our member in industry also should be put on the center table, because their experience has been vast. And I think we need to think about cluster-wise learning, or from technical point of view, subject-wise learning. We need to get these 2 things together, which is one of the most important agenda. And that can happen only and only if the patriotism for the profession is there. Yes, I need to do something for my institute. And that was being demonstrated by these 200 professionals who have contributed for the forensic standards. So there is a full big, open land to work on, and we'll continue to work on that.
No, if I've understood you right, what you're trying to say is that you want corporate India to come and work with the institute, members in industry to work with the institute. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, to a greater extent, sir, because their knowledge base is much more.
Then maybe you should tell us as to why is it that people from industry are I do not know about their voting, but why is it that they don't come to the council? And I think president being from the industry is possibly the first time in 40 years. What is stopping them from coming in?
Sir, I think if you see the biggest example, what we have got currently, a taxation head of one of the largest conglomerate in the country is actually the president of this institute, and he's been actually participating very well in more than one ways. There are certain stands which are being taken, but the point is that I also have a question with this corporate India to ask that, what is the problem you have? Why are you not participating? And that is where the discussions are always happening. Now the time has come where we need to ensure that CFO forums are effectively being maintained at ICI and run on a regular basis in ICI. Number 2, forum for member in industry also should be made active. That is one of the most important part. That is something which we need to really look at. So the focus is from that point of view only, sir. There are different things. We can add continuously many points in this discussion, but there is a limitation of time also. And we want member in industry forum, which is the most important one. Number 2 is member CFO forum to be actively working in ICI.
Okay, all right. That's good. I have a question. I do not know how touchy is it, how delicate is it, how sensitive it is. Why is it that people contest for these elections? It has been one of my views, which I've articulated, including to people who count at the institute, that people who actually work in the council, they need to be remunerated and they need to possibly keep themselves away both from practice or from workplace. Is that an idea whose time has come?
No, sir, I don't think. I just go back to a time in 2015 when I contested for the first time and I lost my election. And then I went back to my father and said, look, the problem is, I cannot go and tell every time that I'm a good man, kindly support me. It is basically people have to understand that. And why should I go and contest? Then he said one thing very clear. You have age in your favor and you have a team of people who are there to take care of office. It is time that we pay back to this profession in whatever form it is. If it is your time, kindly give your time. If it is your cost, kindly give your cost. So the point is, sir, it is a passion. It is, see, if this profession exists, we all exist. If this profession doesn't exist, we do not exist. That's the point which I am very clear about. I still remember when father was in council, they in South particularly have decided to, contest only 3 times. Yes. And they should not contest 4 times. And father opted out to come out, and then again there is a rest is the story. And now the council has actually implemented the provision. ICI has implemented the provision. So just see, if Bansi Mehta's daughter, Mr. Bansi Mehta, who is again a guru of many people as such. So now people are coming forward to come play an important role in the system. So we all are playing an important role only to ensure that all the chartered accountants across are being taken care. Sir, we are going and contesting in Rotary clubs. I'm sorry, it's a social club. I'll use the word, not Rotary club. Social clubs. Multiple people are going and contesting. Don't you think that the interest of this profession need to be protected by coming forward?
All right, fair enough. I'll go to the last question in the first part of our conversation. I have in recent times, I think yesterday or day before, received a message, a forwarded message that talked about why people should vote for Dayaniwas because he's a Hindi speaking person. What's your take on that?
Sir, if you want, I'll read that message directly.
Yes.
That will be much better, because people should know that, when you want to confidently, address anything, you have to be confident enough to talk about everything. And whether you are in favor of that or you are not in favor of that. So technically for me, my community is very simple, CA profession. Point number 1. I'm just trying to pull out that message. Just give me a moment, sir.
No, we will put it out there.
Yeah, you can put it out, sir. That talked about Marwadi community particularly, which I actually have condemned. And more importantly, sir, I have already filed a police complaint yesterday with regards to finding out who the culprit is. Either it should be known to me that, you are telling for me to contest and you are supporting me. I don't even know who that person is, point number 1. Point number 2, without consent, there cannot be any kind of public social messages. And number 3, the biggest damage in the system is, sir, it is cutting out the fabric of, being positive in the profession, and particularly, the communal, or might be you talk about, I don't know what is the word I should be using. People are unnecessarily creating the divide among all the people in a different form. I request whoever that person has been not to do that in the interest of the profession, because it gives a bad taste. Please, I request again not to go for it. Don't divide people in this system. Every chartered accountant is capable to understand that what is the caliber of a person rather than the caste of a person. Caste is only one thing, which is chartered accountants, and not anything else. So, sir, my honest answer is, sir, this I am totally not in favor of. Sir, then let us divide with the number of languages we have, that number of
No,
council members.
I appreciate. I just wanted to know whether it had your sanction.
No, not at all, sir. Be rest assured.
Yeah. So just to quickly summarize what Daya has told us, he told us that in the course of the last 3 years, he has been active in some of the major technology-related initiatives of the Institute. He also told us that in the 3 years ahead, he will work towards ensuring corporate India, people from corporate India play a proactive role in the happenings of the ICAI. He is of the opinion that people who come to the Central Council, or for that matter to the Regional Council, come out of a strong fervor or passion towards the Institute. And last but not the least, he has serious objections to the kind of canvassing that has been taking place in recent times, where people have suggested that one should vote on the basis of the language or the caste that one belongs to. Thank you, Daya. We'll meet on the other side of this break.
Thank you, sir.